It's Sunday, July 26th, and this is the first episode of Exposed: Weird Women in Business and Spiritual Spaces, How to Spot Them and How to Avoid Them. Hey guys, I'm Jessica Inez. I am an intuitive business coach here in the Tampa Bay area, and I am also the founder of Ciao Chica Collective. Now we're going to jump right into it because, hello, we have our dragon show on tonight, and I am not keeping any of us from seeing that on time. 9 o'clock, you know where to be. This is airing at 7. Okay. All right. So let's just jump straight in. The first case study that we have, because as you remember, these are personal experiences that I've gone through. I will not name names. I will not name businesses. But if you're in the know and around here, it's probably not going to be too hard to figure out. But we don't give a fuck. Let's go. The year is 2021. I, at the time, had a boutique, Tampa Casita Home and Living. It was located in Tampa Heights. Now, this story is concerning a white woman who I had met years prior when I, myself, was a stay-at-home mom. She, at the time, was going through her yoga teacher training. I'd had one conversation with her in her living room. I was new to the neighborhood that I live in, and she had invited me over, and we sat, we chatted, spiritual stuff came up, but she was really just learning how to stretch, girl, and do those poses. So that was years prior. Fast forward to 2021, and she came and shopped in my shop one day. Now, while she was there, she had purchased some candles, some tea towels, and a couple other little things. Now, there's more to the story than just a girl and a little shopping trip, okay? This one goes deep. It spreads years, years and years down the line, and involves more than just me. Anyways, it's important to note that she had purchased some candles from me, okay? I had a stockist that provided us with candles in the shop. A woman that I love dearly and who was trying to, and was getting into new shops. I think my shop was the first shop that she had been in the area. And I was like, yeah, of course I want to sell your stuff. Like, this is amazing. Love you, love your energy, love all of this. It is important for the purposes of the story to note that she is a Black woman. Okay. It becomes relevant. It shouldn't be relevant, but it damn sure is. Let's continue. So this woman that I knew came and shopped, right? And then a few days, maybe a week later, my candle person reached out to me and said, hey, this person is opening up a yoga studio, said that she knows you and wants to carry my candles. And I just wanted to make sure with you that this was okay with you. And me, being the cheerleader of women that I am, was like, girl, go get your bag. Get into every store that you can. There's no competition. This is collaboration. We're women. Like, be everywhere. Do everything. I love this for you. So that's where we landed at that juncture of time. Now, fast forward to probably about April of 2021, I decided that I was going to change the locations of my boutique. There was some other stuff happening, which we will get into in a later episode because, girl, that's a lot of material just there alone. But there was some stuff happening, and I decided this was no longer the location for my boutique. This was no longer the environment that I wanted to be around. And thus I set forth announcing that we were having a moving sale. If you guys have ever owned a brick and mortar location or whatever, you know that moving all of this stuff is like so much. It's just easier to order new stuff to the new location. So I was having a sale, and this woman that was opening her yoga studio, okay, that was now carrying the same candles that I was carrying and carrying some other same things that I was carrying. But no worries, she was on a different side of town. No big deal, right? Collaboration. She jumps into my DMs and she says, hey, we're going to be doing more than just yoga here. I'm going to have a little store of doing all this stuff. She, prior to this, had never mentioned that she was also carrying these same candles. I only knew because of my connection for my candles, okay? This woman never told me anything. Anyway, she says, I would be interested. I see that you're having a moving sale, and I would be interested in the following items. I go, oh my God, that's great. Everything is, I don't know what it was. It was like 30% off at the time. I was like, so this item would be this amount, this one would be this amount. And I was so excited, like, yay, here's another woman supporting another woman in business. And it's going to take some stuff off my hands, and she can have some cute stuff in her shop. Boop, 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 boop. Cute, cute, cute. And she says, oh, yeah, no, that's okay. I'll just wait until you're out of business so that I can get a better deal on these items. Out of business? This is a moving sale, not a going out of business sale. I'm not going to be selling this stuff lower than I have it priced now. The purpose was to not have to move so much product. And she said, okay, that's fine. And it really sat really bad with me, okay? She and I get into this whole back and forth thing where she was like, oh, well, just let me know because, I'll just come scoop everything up. And I was like, you know what? Actually, that's pretty shitty. It is pretty shitty to have a woman that who is already having a discounted sale. And if you're going to be having your own retail space, obviously going less than 40% is then me losing money. And she wasn't stupid. She knew this, but she was looking out for numero uno, was not in a community-minded space within her head. She is triggered by this, gets into this whole thing of, you know what? I just think you're dealing with a lot of trauma and beep, 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 beep. And maybe it comes from this or comes from that. Mind you, me and this woman were not friends. She knew nothing about me. We had never had more of a conversation than we had had years and years and years prior when she told me about her new little stretchy venture. And I was applauding her and clapping her on like, hell yeah, you've been a stay-at-home mom. You're going to get your yoga teacher training thing. Oh, that's so great. That's so awesome for you. But here this woman was trying to nickel and dime me, trying to undercut me, trying to have me lose money, and then had the audacity to tell me what was going on with me, who I was as a person, this, that, and the other. And did she like the fact that I said that what she was doing was parasitic in nature? No, she sure didn't. But was it? Yes. And the whole thing really sat really bad in my body. I felt so sick about it. I was like, who the fuck is this person? Who behaves like this? Who does this? I don't ask my friends for discounts on anything that own their own businesses. Ask big corporations for discounts. Give your friends their full fee and add a little tip on top. You know what I mean? You pay full price with friends, I think. You support their businesses. But that's not where she was coming from. And so I had a conversation with the person that I had candles from. And I told her, I was like, hey, I had this really shitty experience. This is what happened. I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do, what have you. I'm just letting you know this really sat really bad in my spirit, sat bad in my body. And I wanted you to know what was going on because, in case you need a heads up, in case anything feels funny down the line, maybe it's a pattern. I don't know. Maybe it was a one-off thing and she was just super weird with me, but I wanted to make sure that she knew. And she was like, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for telling me. She and I, my candle person, have kept a beautiful relationship over the years to this day. Okay? To this day. So, you would think that that's where the story ends. However, a couple years later, my girlfriend calls me up and said, hey, I didn't want to discuss this with anyone. I've been sitting on it for a while, and I knew that I needed to tell you because God knows if I saw something ahead of time and was warned about it, I would want whoever I warned to come back to me and let me know, like, your gut was not wrong. You were right on the money. Something is very off with this person, this, that, and the other. And I said, oh my God, I already know who it's about, but tell me what has happened. And she said that she had she had contracted to do an event, a paid event at this woman's yoga studio. Okay. And it had a very specific theme, very specific theme. Now, coming up to the time where this event was to take place, she kept wondering, well, when is this event space, of which she was paying for, girl, when is this event space going to, post anything on their social media or anything like this? Um, and she finally did see something, and it looked just like her event. Okay. The flyer that went online looked just like her event. However, it was for an event of the same specific theme, this time hosted by the yoga studio, same day, same time, held indoors instead of outdoors, and this one was for free. For free. And to make matters worse, my Black friend noticed that on the flyer there was a stock image used of a Black woman of the exact same skin tone with the exact same hairstyle that she had currently been rocking for a little bit. This white woman had put out a flyer for a free event, same theme, with a stock photo of a woman of the same skin tone as my Black friend with her same hairstyle for free, while her paid event was supposed to be going on outside. Now tell me, if there are two events that are at the same place and one is free and one is paid, who do you think everybody is going to be going to? Which event is going to have more people sign up for it? Now, this event that my friend was doing was paid. This was a part of her business plan to have paid events. She's already paying for this space. She ends up not having the event. And when she pulled out of having that event, that same white woman gaslit the fuck out of her and said, oh no, it wasn't anything like this, blah, 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 blah. She acted like what she was doing was totally normal. She acted like what she had done was not weird bitch shit at all. But clearly it was. And this woman saw no problem with it. Now, I do also want to point out that in the time after I left my first location for the boutique and we had moved to the second location, during the time that flows along there, the boutique was written about in publications. And I had always used this same series of descriptors to describe what type of products that we carried. They were like women owned and locally made and da 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 da. I mean, honestly, I could go back to articles that were written about the boutique and like copy and paste them and be like, this is what I always said. This is like what I came up with. I wasn't using ChatGPT. It wasn't Google. It was from my own brain. It was what we used. This was like, this is what we're about. This sentence. This woman at her yoga studio, her Instagram page came across in my, For You page on Instagram during the summer of 2021, once we were in our second location, after our business did not close and we actually did move, okay? And I saw that she was advertising her products at her little yoga shop with the exact same description that I had been describing everything in my shop. Verbatim. So not only was this woman out here trying to undercut other women in business, but she was out here doing so as a very zen, spiritual, lovely yoga lady who is here to what, lead people through not only exercises but maybe perhaps a spiritual journey. Meanwhile, in the back of everything, she's being gnarly, undercutting women, being a piece of shit, gaslighting everybody, stealing actual ideas, copying and pasting actual events, not only from other women, but women of color as well. And the whole time, I know that she was banking on the fact that nobody would ever call her out for it. Because my friend, when she called me a couple years later to tell me about the nonsense with the event, I said, why don't you put her on blast? Because if nobody knows that this is going on, she's just going to keep doing it to other people. This will happen again. It, at this point, is a pattern, and the pattern has gotten worse. And she said, I thought about it. I really did. I really thought that I would put her on blast, that I would let people know. But at the end of the day, and I was like, you don't want to look like the angry black woman, because that's exactly what the fuck is going to happen. And she was like, yeah. So I decided to just change my energy and, direct and divert my energy onto doing different things and building different things. And I just will never work with her again. And I said, well, do you want me to call her out? Because 2021 and 2022, Jess, was always ready to call you out and burn your freaking house down. Hey, I might burn down your house and hope that you're inside of it when it happens. Okay. Not literally, duh, please. I'm not an arsonist, but you know what I mean? Like, burn that shit down. I did not care about burning bridges because I was going through my own thing of learning how to speak up for myself, learning how to advocate for myself. And I was just at that time really getting sick of eating everyone else's shit. I was getting sick of being taken advantage of, having my kindness used against me, having my generosity treated as a weakness, and people trying to pull one over on me. And here's what I also want to point out. I know that we as women know that we could end up in dangerous situations with men because we want to be the nice girl. We want to be polite. And sometimes being polite and ignoring warning signs has gotten us killed. It has gotten us harmed. It has gotten us killed. It has happened time and time again. But what I think that we don't talk about is that same need to be polite, that same desire to not be problematic, that same, hey, you should be nice and we don't talk bad about people, we don't bring things up. Let's just move our energy towards something better. I think that same thing has kept us around women who are not safe either. And nobody wants to talk about the unsafe woman. Maybe she's not physically unsafe, but energetically, spiritually, mentally unsafe. These types of unsafe women are everywhere in every zone of life. They're in every single career path. They're in every single space. And I just want you to be aware of the tactics that they use and of what they depend on. They depend on respectability politics. They depend on knowing that other women don't want to be seen as, heaven forbid, problematic for calling something out that's wrong. They depend on us upholding the standard of being courteous with one another. And they think that you, like they, will ignore their own gut instincts. They think other women aren't going to call me out. I'm sweet. I'm saying all the right buzzwords. I'm really winning their trust. They'll never see me coming. They'll never know that I am truly moving parasitic in nature. Like, they depend on this. They depend on you to uphold these nice girl standards. They bend for the patriarchy, so they think that you should too. But we're not going to do that anymore. We are going to start talking. We're going to start calling out this nasty behavior, and we're going to keep each other safe. We are going to build the businesses that we want to build. We are going to have the careers that we want to have. We are going to have the friendships that we want to have. We are going to build the modern matriarchy that we want to live in. And that is a circle with the vulnerable in the middle. It's none of these, you know, patriarchal pyramids that we're so used to seeing and that these women want to move through. They say, I get on top and everybody is beneath me. As long as I'm winning, who cares? And I think that I'm done with it and you're done with it. And our silence has been one of the only things that upholds this structure. It's been one of the only things that has kept us around unsafe women. Obviously, they're not physically unsafe, but you know what I mean? Like the women that steal, the women that lie, the women that cheat, and the women that smile and look pretty and that you never see coming with a knife in their hand right behind their back. Okay. So take from this what you will and expect in the future that I mean, I have so many. It's so sad, honestly, but I don't feel bad about it, whatever. Um, Shadow work is a beautiful thing, healing is a beautiful thing. But I have so many stories to cover with you guys as time goes on and and we will because screw it. Like fuck it, we ball. I think it's our time to win and the women that are moving out, like moving throughout these networks that depend on somebody else's creativity and stealing from them, the women that steal from other women of color, or that, you know, maybe sometimes it's these women that start businesses and they have all the financial backing in the world and they go through life thinking, well, I can afford whatever I want. So I'll just buy everything she has and I'll make it better and I'll do this and I'll do. It's just fucking, it's done. You know what I mean? I think everybody sees it and we're sick of it. And so you can come here and learn from my experiences and the experiences of other women too that have reached out that have their own stories that they too want to share. And to be clear, these types of women that have been so harmful only continue to do so because we continue to uphold the silence that they depend on to keep moving the way that they do. They depend on our silence. The same way the patriarchy does, these women depend on our silence too. And to be even clearer, this isn't about holding these women to task. It's not about exposing who they are. It's not about canceling them. It's about letting you know what they look like, how they move, what they do, so that you too can protect yourself moving forward. I have always felt like surely my experiences and the experiences of other women around me who come to me with atrocious stories have got to matter. They have to have been for something. And I have always felt that if I learn something, I share it. So I have learned a lot of things the hard way. A lot of women around me have learned things the hard way, and it's time to share. So stay tuned, subscribe to this since this is on YouTube, and you can also follow along over at Instagram at Jessica Inez. That is JESSICAINEAZ. And you can also, if you would like to, join us over at Chow Chica Collective, where we are building the modern matriarchy built off of depth, devotion, and beauty. We have local Tampa Bay events that are coming up very soon. And then we also have a, gosh, if I could speak, a retreat coming up next year in Italy. We are strange women, probably, but we are not weird bitches, to be clear. There's no weirdo, shady stuff happening there. You can expect to be around women who have a strong moral fiber, um, ethical baseline, and a no bullshit approach to life because I think we need to gather ourselves, strengthen ourselves, rest together, create together, learn together, vibe out together in the safest way that we possibly can to just change this whole thing up. Anyways, guys, it is almost time for that dragon show. Please do not spoil it online because not every one of us can watch it in real time. Love you guys the most. Mean it. Talk to you soon. Bye.